Heard a small story from chapter number 4 and 5 of the Chiyu Maho Machigai Terunoka series that was now told, and it was the moment in which one of Rosa's subordinates, without bad intentions or any type of evil behind in his actions, they tried to murder her. And well, her reaction was not pretty at all. She punishes them in such an atrocious way to Usato himself decide to pry from the peace of his souls. You see, this takes place just before the boy was told that he had to accompany Ikami on an expedition in order to gain real experience facing monsters. The night before he wanted to go to eat, but when he went to the kitchen, his group mates, as usual, had eaten his lunch and left him nothing. Then one of them, quite arrogantly, told him, "Hey, calm down, wait, here is our dear friend Milling, and he loves to cook. So, how about you try one of those dishes? They are delicious, I can guarantee you that." Usato was a little doubtful. It could be not. I mean, these guys don't look like them know who to cook, and after one of them is a charge of the food, I don't see the rest of them as having culinary talent. But he decides to give it a try. "Well, okay, I'm hungry," he said. Deep down, he no longer cared about this state of things. Since he survived those 10 days inside the forest of darkness, this was secondary. What's more, he only cared about whether the food was nutritious. Therefore, he wanted to give the food of his companions a change. Furthermore, he understood that he had to begin to form a more friendly relationship with them, because soon they would all go to the front of the battlefield to rescue their aliens. The boys went to the kitchen and were served a dish. Usato saw and this with suspicion and first told his friend to try it first. Only because of him it was poisoned. Contrary to that he thought, he enjoyed it. He said, "Come on, Usato, hurry up, I will eat it myself." That's why he wanted to give him the opportunity, and it turned out it was one of the most disgusting dishes he had even tasted in his life. It was some kind of weird soup with potatoes, but it had a ton of salt on it. And the strut, the sea of water, and everything else that contained it made it ultimately turn into the hardest past that, even if he tried to swallow it, got sucked in his own trachea, preventing him from breathing. And yet, after 2 minutes of agony in which it finally reached his stomach, he felt as if his intestines was beginning to reject it, and he quietly had to stand and use healing magic on his body in the same way when he looked it intoxicated with water. But there were no effect, there were no result. His body continued to die slowly without magic being able to do anything. Then, gathering all his willpowers, he got up, sit on the chair, and he wanted to tell his cookers how horrible this food was, but the words just wouldn't come out. They were chained, his tongue could not move because of the slow death he was suffering, and that is when Captain Rosa enters the room. She wanted to inform Usato that he had just come from an audience with the king. It was already late, deep into the night, and the subordinated say, "Hey boss, I don't know if you have eaten yet, but I would like you have to some of Millie's food?" And she says, "Well, why not? Alright." She sat at the table, the boys served him his food. They had not bad intentions. From their point of view, the food was delicious, but it is because his palates are bad. They are already crazy in the head and waiting, expecting their captain to tell them that it was delicious. They smiled, and when She bowed that strange lick to his lips and swallowed it. His body paralyzed. The plate fell from his hands, and Usato could see how the captain's breathing stopped for a few moments. Perhaps even his heart stopped. Quietly, he was able to detect the magical signals from his body. She realized reflects healing magic on herself to compose herself. Otherwise, she wouldn't have died from shock. He looked quite fiercely with that single eyes he has at his subordinates. And then, using her own hands, she grabbed his face and lifted into the air. His parents did not escape the same fate either. Suspended in the air by Rosa's iron claws, while they were a meter above the ground, she tells them, "Boys, you undoubtedly have a lot of courage to make me eat something as disgusting as that. I hope you are willing to accept the consequence." And the boys didn't know exactly that they were going to be punished for. From the point of view, they had done nothing wrong. They were simply caring about their companions and cooked for them. And that is the story of how Rosa was almost killed by her own classmate.